Happy Sunday, Sooner Nation. For the first Sooner Surge Softball Live of the 2025 season, we are here to talk to you about only Sooner softball. That's right, because we have another live that'll come to you at 9:30 where we talk all things Sooner sports. But this one is solely devoted to the Sooner softball team as they open up their 2025 season. They're chased for number 5 this Thursday. And guys, as Patty said in the presser a couple days ago, she's rejuvenated. She's excited. And I think Sooner Nation is as well, because a lot of new faces, just a new amount of energy that's going to be out there. A lot of different things. Patty even said it herself that it's going to be different. It's going to be different in the way they play. I'm here to see. Cannot wait to see what that's going to be like, guys.
Yeah, Jeremy, you talked about it. The excitement is building, and I think it all starts with something that Gasso said in her press conference this past week, was just the way they're going to use the arms. I think that was really interesting, how they're going to attack you in so many different ways in so many different moments. You don't know who could come in at any time. It could be 3 different arms for 3 different batters. You never know. I think that's something we've talked about some, as well as we've been previewing the softball season, is just – is there going to be an ace? Is Sam Landry potentially going to take that spot? Is there going to be a rotation? Well, I think that kind of answers it. Is there's a lot of arms that need to prove themselves. Who's going to play what sort of role? And Patty Gasso is going to give everyone the opportunity that they deserve.
Yeah. Hey, one thing to me, I'm very interested to see. I was I don't know if I was surprised by it in the offseason, but I'm intrigued at the reasoning why Nelly was the captain. I think that's a great choice. But, Pickering and Parker had such great years as freshmen. I was honestly, when they announced the Nelly as captain, I thought, I wonder if they're going to do another one or 2 or 3, or if it's just going to be one, and it's Nelly. And I think that tells you a lot about Nelly. I think that tells you an awful lot about her.
Well, for one, I think going forward for probably 9 out of the next 10. I'm just throwing a number out there. I think going forward, you're going to see a lot more of just one captain. I think last year, it's really, since they've been doing the captain thing for the last decade plus, it's been twice that they've had multiple now. You look at both times, very particular circumstances there. Last year, without a doubt, that was the right move. And how do you even picking those just 2 captains last year? I felt like it was a hard decision with how talented that senior class is. And real quick, back to the comment about Jackson brought it up about pitchers. Are you shocked by that? Because I'm not. They have 5.
I think it was the way she worded it. I was shocked by it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's the same kind of as what she did last year. The verbiage was a little different, but you have 5 true pitchers this year that are 4 of which that have played college softball before. Really 6 if you want to count Agbayani as well. She can pitch as well. Did so 2-way at BYU. Audrey Lowry, the only pitcher that will be in that rotation that is a true freshman, so that has no college softball experience. So I'm not shocked by it at all. You saw it a lot last year. Maybe later on it fades down, but I think early on I would be shocked if they didn't do it.
Yeah, I'm not surprised at all by it. It's going to be interesting how it works. And I really think analytics, I think, is going to have a lot to do with it. Coach Gasso is big time in that as well. And guys, let's get right down to it. Drop your comments and questions here in the chat. We're going to be on here for 30, 45 minutes, something like that, talking strictly OU Sooner softball. I don't expect Ella Parker. I see the comment there by Mark and Teresa. I don't expect Ella Parker to be much in way of pitching. Yeah, she may get mop-up duty here and there. But, guys, let's get right down into it with the lineup. I mean,
real quick, Jeremy. I would be shocked if Ella Parker pitches over 10 innings this year.
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
I think it was it's fall ball. You're playing so much, and then there's also the schedules of kind of weird timings for games and that fall semester where their schedules aren't really built for an in-season schedule. So sometimes you don't have players available.
Yeah, and let's get kind of right into the lineup of things, guys. Starting on Thursday, and it's always fun to make projections and see what the lineup will end up being. But let's just start with the battery, guys. Let's just start with the battery. Opening day battery. I think Isabella Emmerling is going to be the starting catcher.
Yeah.
And I think Sam Landry gets the ball first. That's my take.
I agree. Yeah,
I would agree with that as well.
And I think the hot corners guys are also locked position. I think Sydney Sanders, for sure is going to be the first baseman. There's no doubt she's wearing number 1. She's the first baseman. She's playing the hot corner there. She'll be first base. And then third base guys, don't you think that's a lock?
Lock with Nelly, yes. Correct. I don't think any of those are up in the air right now. You're going to get some rotations, especially at catcher. You're going to get some breaks for Isabella, but I think that's going to be the majority of the starter right there. Those positions. You're right. Battery, catcher, third, first. Yeah.
I would guess Zakay is.
I would guess that.
Yeah.
It could go either way. Corey Hicks is another talented player from that 2024 recruiting class.
Hey, let me ask you this: where do you have Agbiani, short or second?
Shortstop.
Yeah, shortstop.
I got her short. Jeremy, what about you?
That's her natural position, but I do think that it all depends on what Patty Gasso wants to do with Tia Malloy. If they feel like Tia Malloy, because I don't think Tia Malloy, I think she'd be better at shortstop than second base personally. If they want to for sure get Tia Malloy on the field, then I think Agbayani at that point goes to second. That's what I would say.
But there's multiple players they could play at second or short. It's not just Tia Malloy. There's a bunch they could throw in there to that role. I don't know. And Gabby Garcia is a name, Mark. Gabby Garcia. A lot of people talking about Gabby Garcia as well. Yeah, there's a bunch you could throw in there. They got a bunch of talent. So,
yeah. And Mark, he said something about Sydney Sanders needing to step up really, or she might drop off out of the starting 9. 1, I don't see that. And 2, I think Sydney Sanders, especially last year, was relied upon a ton to make clutch plays, and she did that, especially in the World Series. Although she struggled at a lot of times when a hit was needed, when a defensive play was needed, you could rely on Sydney Sanders. And I think that's something that this year you might need again. Is Oklahoma, they have so much depth, they have so many players that are going to attack in unique ways offensively. But I think Sydney Sanders, with her ability to deliver in the clutch, every elite team needs a clutch player. And Sydney Sanders was that for Oklahoma. I think she still can be that, especially whenever it comes to playoffs and the World Series time. But she's played a ton of softball, and I do agree with the part that she needs to be more consistent.
She does, but she's one of the most experienced on the team. Yeah. So that's what she brings you, which is nice to have.
Guys, I see a lot of comments about Sydney Barker at shortstop.
I like Barker a lot, guys. I like Barker a lot.
Starting lineup, though.
What?
I don't think she'll be in the starting lineup.
We'll see.
I do think in this opening weekend, you look at the schedule. You got CSUN on Thursday at 5:30, then a doubleheader immediately after San Diego State, Cal Baptist, Cal State Fullerton, and Loyola Marymount, and then Long Beach State to wrap up the weekend on Sunday. I think you're going to see a lot of rotation in that middle infield. Because you look at that, again, that recruiting class, what was it, 5 out of the 8
Yes.
Yeah.
We're a middle infielder / utility. And then you also have Ogbayani there as well. And these are games that Oklahoma are probably going to win in 5 innings. And at least the majority of these games on opening weekend. So I think you're going to see quite a bit of rotation there because maybe that's something that it's still going on because I think everybody in the middle infield in particular had a very good fall ball in the battle series and the fall ball games that they played. Brandon, a couple of them are televised. You know, the first one that it's listed as televised is the back end of the doubleheader, and that will be on Mountain West Network. I believe that's available on like YouTube.com.
Yeah.
I could be wrong on that, but I believe it is. So Sooner softball will be on ESPN Plus / SEC Network Plus. So as long as you have that, shouldn't be an issue. If you have one of them.
But that's only select games on there.
Correct. I'm more saying the home games. The home games are going to be televised either on the ESPN Plus SEC Network site or app on your TV, and then there will be some that are on national TV, and you would watch it like you watch any national televised sporting event. So
I want to get to Teresa's comment up here. I believe it will come down to who is hitting better. And Teresa's right. If you go based off Patty Gasso's last few years on, you could go back to, shortstop last year. A lot of people thought that they were going to play somebody else at shortstop, but play the hot hand, whoever's hitting better. I think Patty's gone more towards that than people would say, quote, defensive players. I think defense still matters, but to be truthful, a lot of these players, there's not a whole bunch of drop-off on defense, in my opinion. When you get all these players that are at OU, they all can play defense. Whoever's hitting better, whoever's at the hot hand is probably going to get the playing time more.
I agree with you, Jay. And then on the defensive side of it, I think really the biggest difference in each fielder compared to each other, probably arm strength. I think from a fielding standpoint, as you mentioned, it's going to be pretty close to the same. I mean, they're going to be making good plays. Arm strength might be something different there. Yeah,
and I agree with Robert Neff. They're going to play a whole lot of people this first weekend. And Lane, I'm with you. Hannah Core, according to the reports, according to Coach Gasso, I mean, looking really good. If she can stay healthy, I think people will be, and I hate to say surprised because she's shown so many examples of how great she can be, but I think people are going to be, fans are going to be surprised at how good Hannah Core is if she's healthy. Like she's gonna woo some people. She's gonna turn heads with her play in the field and her bat.
I would love for her to be the third outfielder. I don't know if it would be an everyday deal, but I mean, you got Pickering and Dayton already as two solidified. Those are two. Okay, so who's the third one going to be? You could say many names in that spot, and maybe it will be a rotation there. But I think Hannah Core's one that, I mean, we saw it last year in the battle series. Before she had the best battle series of anybody, you could say, last year. I'm not talking this past, I'm talking about the year before. But I'm and Bland, Maya Bland. I don't know about her.
Patty Gass said she's been unbelievable. Like the players are just like, wow.
No, I know she's talented. I'm saying, where is she going to fit? Where is she going to be in that rotation of the third outfielder?
Rotation of the third outfielder. I think you're also going to see Ella Parker get a little bit of run in the outfield every now and then, but for the most part, that's the position I think that could have the most platoon to it. Different options at times, and again, I think it really goes down to, is Hannah Core healthy to start the season? Sounds like she is. And can she stay healthy for the first time in her career? Because in the limited times that she's played, she's been great. I mean, you watch her and you know she's going to be a star player It's just a matter of staying healthy. And I mean, now multiple back injuries over the last couple of seasons.
Yeah. And when you just talk about the speed that a comment said, really something that Patty Gasso said was that they still are trying to figure out how to use the speed that they have, because there's so much speed, so much athleticism on this team. It's a new team, and I think we all have talked about it as we're discussing these 10 to 15, close to maybe even 20 players that could potentially get time this year on the field, to me, which is crazy because the past 3-4 years it's been the same names we've been talking about pretty much. And now it's just this whole new team. It's filled with a ton of excitement, speed, and softball season really can't come fast enough, guys.
Well, it's here. I mean, it's right around the corner. Who y'all taking, Jordy or Kennedy? Who would you take tomorrow?
Jordy Ball.
Najari Kennedy.
Najari Kennedy.
I mean, Jordy's coming off an injury. Kennedy's proven time and time. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah, Kennedy has carried Stanford. I mean, to the Women's College World Series the last 2 years. Last year facing injuries as well, and was still not at all the reason they were eliminated. I mean, she gave them.
But also,
go ahead, James.
No, I mean, I was going to say there's no wrong pick there, though. I don't think there's a wrong answer to that, because they both are two of the best arms debatably in the last 10 years, and they're playing in the same season in college softball. They've been dominant since they were freshmen, and there's an argument that if Jordy Ball wouldn't have got hurt last year, that Nebraska could have potentially.
Don't know that, though.
Yeah, that's why I said there's an argument.
I'm still curious, the change of scenery, how that affects Jordy Ball. Like, without Jen Rocha, I mean, like, there's some question marks in my opinion. I'm not just saying that because she's at Nebraska. We haven't seen her at Nebraska, away from OU, away from Coach Rocha. Hey, Jay, I know you can't really say this, but maybe you aren't going to talk about that. But Sid Sanders, guys, she does drop her shoulder quite a bit on her swing.
Yeah.
She just misses some balls and pops them up. And you guys saw the stretch last year. Remember the stretch where it was, I forget, Hunter will probably remember how many home runs she had per at bat.
It was like 8 and 12 days.
Yeah, it was 8 home runs.
Something like that.
Yeah,
it was
wear that on the bat. Yeah.
You've seen other than Jocelyn Allo. I mean, it was a historic stretch that first, a week and a half of Love's Field.
Yeah, hey, I got to ask y'all this, and this is for the chat too. 2 years ago, Jordy, just down the stretch, is unbelievable. Last year, it was Kelly Maxwell. Okay? Is Landry the one this year? Is, in your opinion, is she going to be the one down the stretch that they're handing that ball to, and she's doing it day in, day out, and really the closer of the season?
I think this year it's harder to pick than in years past on who that would be. Because Sam Landry's there, Bella Smith is there. I mean, it's now year 3 for Kirsten Deal, year 2 for Peyton Monticelli at OU. Like, I think it's probably going to be Landry, but I think it could be any of the 4 that I just named.
But by the way, did you see what Patty Gasso said? The hardest one they're having trouble with right now is Audrey Lowry.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
True freshman, but she's got some stuff.
Their pitching staff may not have the top dog that they had, but I think this pitching staff's going to be really good. I'm probably higher than all 3 of you guys are on Peyton Monticelli and Isabella Smith. Sam Landry, I love the spin she has on the ball. It's a unique delivery. She's got the height coming from the mound as well. But I really like Peyton Monticelli and what she brings as far as energy, passion. And I like Isabella Smith. No one's really seen Isabella Smith.
Yeah, well, if you ask me, Jay, I think that going down the stretch, Oklahoma is going to need a reliable, dominant arm. Is Sam Landry that? Yes, I think the pitching by committee can be good, but if you're going to need somebody that you can trust absolutely to go and then deliver a masterful last 3 innings of maybe a game 3 in the World Series to decide it. So, like, I think Sam Landry can be that, but we're going to have to wait and see with who, just something that I said at the start, who's going to elevate their game and really become that dominant arm.
Hey, over. I want to do a couple unders for you guys. Okay, over under 100 home runs for this season.
They had 122 a year ago.
Yeah, are you taking the over under?
I think they get 105.
Jackson,
Over.
Germ.
Oh, I thought I was muted. Over. Over.
Now let me give you another one. Over under Peyton Monticelli starting 5 games.
Over.
Under.
I'm taking the under.
I'm taking right at it. Again, with the amount of pitchers that this team has, they have 5 true pitchers. Agbayani as well. I would assume he's going to get some run there. Was a 2-way star at BYU a year ago, as I mentioned earlier. I think you saw Monticelli last year in that kind of that reliever closer role at times. I think that's going to be the same thing this year. So maybe not as many starts, but I think she gets a few.
Yeah. Hey, who is this year's Riley Boone?
I mean, I'm going to go with the name that's easy. And I'm kind of torn. I think Abby Dayton.
That's who I would go with.
I want to lean towards.
But she's going to be batting 1 or 2 hole, though. It'd be a little different.
Yeah. Well, I guess define what you mean.
Yeah,
because a player
going by energy and type of plays.
I think Abby Dayton, though. I think Abby Dayton has a little more pop than Riley Boone.
Okay, so what? Ask your question again.
Yeah,
well, just somebody that clutch hits when you need it, 2 outs, get on base to start a rally. I mean, that's Abby Dayton's a good one. I think that's a good answer. I just think she has more pop than Riley Boone.
I was going to Maya Bland.
Teresa says Dayton.
How crazy would it be to say Hannah Core?
I mean,
you think that's crazy? That's what I'm going to go with. Hannah Core. I think she's going to stay healthy, and I think she's going to contribute a ton on this year's team and show that potential that she has.
Who bats 9th this year? I think it's going to be a rotation.
I'm not going to try to get
Isabel. Here's the thing. Patty changes it every game anyway, so it doesn't matter. And here's another thing is this. Randy says, in modern college softball, changing the pitcher every time through the lineup is a very good strategy. Committee can win a national championship if defense is good as always.
And
26, we have a good timely hitting. Yeah, I mean, it's not.
And,
it is.
And in softball, a pitcher can exit the game and come back into the game. So Oklahoma did it a few times last year, not nearly as much as you'd see other teams do it. But when you have, again, 5 pitchers, 6 pitchers, I mean, why not? As Randy says, go through the order, switch it up, maybe bring back the pitcher that you pulled early if it's a matchup sort of thing or whatever it could be.
Sydney Sanders, I think Sydney Sanders is going to be maybe in the 4 or 5 hole.
I think 6.
Maybe
majority of the time. Who do you think leads it? Who do you think leads this team in home runs? Would you pick? Let me just tell you this: you can take Parker, Pickering, or the rest of the team. Are you taking Parker, Pickering?
Yeah,
I am too.
Swings are too smooth.
I would not sleep on Nelly Mac though. I would not.
Yeah,
I think most people would take.
Hey, you're talking. You've talked now multiple times about NellyMcEnroe-Marinas. People don't need to sleep on her. I think that's a player that, like, the expectations, like, no one really knows. I think she's going to be beyond the expectations because you didn't see her a year ago because of injury. And even then, she might have played her way into the lineup at least every few days. And to be named captain is, I mean, massive for first-time starter now and really going to have that third base position locked down. And, again, a great fall. And I think going to potentially be the best player on the team. I don't think that's a wild thing to say.
I would not be shocked if she led the team in home runs this year. But right now, on this day, I'm picking Pickering. Picking Pickering because I don't know what it is about her. When she makes contact, the ball may leave the yard. She's got just this knack that, I mean, the way her swing is and stuff,
She doesn't hit many ground balls, guys. She does not hit many ground balls.
No.
The plane of her swing, she does not hit many ground balls. And she's great opposite field.
Yeah. Yeah. And Robert says Sanders needs to get hot more than everybody. And I agree. She's got to be more consistent. That's for sure. Victoria says, I'm curious about Maya Bland. Will she potentially start? I think she'll start some.
Yeah.
I don't think she'll start every day. I think there's going to be one person in the outfield that they're rotating through in different starts. Like you have a 3-game series, you may see 3 outfilders starting.
Especially these first couple
Correct.
weekends through non-con. I think you're going to see it. And again, maybe I'm wrong there. Maybe everything has been solidified in the offseason there. But even if you have people that are leading with how much talent is on this team from top to bottom through this freshman class, through the year 2 players, and potentially Hannah Core being healthy for the first time in a couple of seasons now, it just makes it very hard to imagine where there's not a good amount of rotation through this non-con slate.
Hey, don't you think Bland's probably the fastest on the team?
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a name we haven't mentioned yet is Cheney Helton.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the top 10 player in the class last year, close to it, number 1 player in Oklahoma out of Coweta.
Yeah, you got Cheney Helton out of Coweta, and then you got Katie McKay out of Caddo, Oklahoma. Both Oklahoma players, and someone asked, I think Colin asked about extra base hit category. They got a lot of speed. I expect a lot of doubles from this team, a lot of doubles.
Yeah. Hey, what do y'all think about this? If Sanders got cold, Tia Malloy is a player that she is so talented, and if she's swinging the bat, they're going to have to play her somewhere. She's just too talented. Man.
Tia Malloy is, I think, the best player out of her family. She had 2 sisters that were very talented at Washington and at Tennessee. It's a name that's not being talked about enough because, again, of how good that middle infield class is. And there's really, say, 1 spot open there. And then the other outfield position, maybe Tia Malloy is in that rotation for the 3rd outfield spot every now and then. But I wouldn't be shocked if by the end of the season she's an everyday starter.
All right. Hey, yeah, she can play a lot of positions. Let's just do it. First game lineup prediction. Colin's asking for it. We all said catcher. We all say Isabel Emery.
Wait, I think he wants to line up batting order or what?
No.
Starting lineup.
Starting lineup, Jeremy. Come on now. Can't predict that.
No.
But I would say, yeah, we all agree on Isabel Emery, catcher. We all agree on Sydney Sanders first. We all agree on Nelly McEnroe third. We all agree 2 outfielders are going to be Pickering and Dayton. So what we need is another outfielder, a shortstop, and a second baseman. And then EH. EH is Parker, right? Y'all agree?
Yeah.
Hannah Core, I think, is the other outfielder. And I've got Agbayani and Tia Malloy. That's who I got in the middle infield.
Okay, I got it a little different. I got Agbayani, and then I got Gabby Garcia, and then I have Tia Malloy in the outfield.
I have Katie Lee McKay, the other middle infield position.
And Agbayani?
Yes.
And who do you got in the outfield?
Outfield, Hannah Core.
Jackson.
If I knew Hannah Core was ready to go, I'd say Hannah Core. I just don't know.
I have the same exact thing as you, Jeremy.
Who's the leadoff hitter? Who's the leadoff hitter on this team?
Leadoff hitter?
Dayton Agbayani.
I would go Abby Dayton. I think she'll lead off.
I think.
I would say Dayton unless Tia Malloy's playing.
Okay.
I could see Tia Malloy being leadoff hitter. But
man, Sydney Sanders, Pickering, or Parker, Pickering, Sanders are probably going to go 1, 2, 3 like that. They're going to be back to back to back, I think.
Hey,
Parker,
Hunter, you know what's interesting? You mentioned, earlier about, who the best players on this team. You said Nelly McEnroe. Here's another interesting thing about this season is you got Parker and Pickering, preseason All-American, along with Abby Dayton, which Abby Dayton, preseason All-American. I mean, that's unbelievable.
If she wasn't at Utah last year, Again, I believe all conference last year. Have to pull up the bio to get into the specifics there, but unbelievable season a year ago for the Utes. I think she would be in the conversation of first team All-American. She's that good. And the fact that she's already a preseason second team All-American tells you everything you need to know, though she's coming from school not really known for softball.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask a weird question. And I don't even know if you can do this question justice. I probably shouldn't even ask it. So if you hate the question, just say you're dumb, Jason, dumb question. And the viewers can say it too. I don't care if you don't like this question. But out of Brito, Coleman, Boone, and Hanson, those four players, where's the biggest drop-off at their position?
You can't answer that.
I can. It's Kenzie Hansen. Kenzie Hansen behind the plate had to do so much with the pitchers. I think that's the answer.
I refuse to answer. I think
Jay,
it's bad.
there's no way you can answer that.
Answer? Why would you refuse to answer?
It's a horrible question.
Like it's everyone. Like it's just not.
I think what Jeremy. Now listen, Hunter. What Jeremy is
saying. Like yes, catcher is probably the biggest concern there. Yes, but I mean, look at having to replace Tiara Jennings at shortstop, middle infield.
I didn't even mention Jennings.
Yeah, having to replace the greatest center fielder in college softball history in Jada Coleman. Like, come on. I mean, Alyssa Brito.
I wasn't scared. And hey, I'm not scared to give my starting lineup batting order right now either. You ready for it?
Drop it. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Someone write it down because it's going to be right. Okay.
Oh, yeah, sure. Because you're always right.
To say it slow enough that I can get it.
And you're always right, Jerm.
I got Abby Dayton leading this thing off on Thursday.
Okay.
I got Nelly Mac in the 2-hole. My 3, 4, 5, I got Parker, Pickering, Sanders. How about that? Okay. 3, 4, 5. My 6th spot, Agbayani. My 7th spot, I'm trying to think who else. I got Emmerling 8, and I got Hannah Core in the 9-hole. So I left one. Who did I leave out? Oh, Malloy. I got Malloy in the 7.
Jeremy, you don't need to write it down. You got a photographic memory, remember?
I hadn't said it.
That is a Surgeaholic right there. He knows that comment inside out. Hey,
Core would be a great 9-hole.
Hey, here's an over-under for everybody in the chat. Over-under. Out of those 9 that Jeremy just said, how many does he get right? 5's the number. Over, under. What are you taking?
All right, let me look at this.
Batting order correct. They got to be correct.
Yeah,
I'm not scared to make predictions.
I'm going to take the over for him. I'm going to take the over.
He gets 3 right.
Now, Teresa dropped hers right here. She's got Dayton, Agbayani, Parker, Pickering, Nelly, Emmerling, Sanders, Bland, Garcia. She's got Bland playing outfield. I like that lineup too. Here's the thing. There's so many lineups you could throw out there that I'd be like, oh, I like it.
Hey, for all of you guys in the first game, do you think OU hits over under 5 home runs in the first game?
Under.
Under?
I'm going to say under.
Yeah. Hey, they better take advantage of the weather this week. It's not going to be great the next week, but they'll be traveling to California some too.
Hey, and we need to get to the schedule. I mean, they open up their SEC games with South Carolina, and then they got Arkansas pretty early on, which would be a great matchup. But hey, real quick, I got to get a call in here. This is a great question. What is the greatest Sooner Magic softball moment?
Easy.
I won last season has changed. Man, there are so many. The Clemson one's hard to beat, in my opinion.
It's hard to beat the Clemson one with Kenzie Hansen.
That's it. I mean, I think that's...
The Jada Coleman against Florida last year was, guys, they're in trouble if they don't win that game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's been a lot. I mean, there's been so many, it's hard to even count, man. I mean, and you know what? Let me say this. I don't like the term Sooner Magic in all instances. When you're just talented and you make great plays, I don't consider that Sooner Magic. I consider Sooner Magic on something goes your way
I think timing has to do with Sooner Magic.
Timing, I agree with Colin on the timing of it, but do you see what I'm saying? Like, that's just a great play. I guess you could say Sooner Magic because when it was made, probably. But, man, there's so many of those moments, Colin. There is so many to choose from. I don't know. Colin, what would you say? Sooner Magic moment. Lane says Tennessee game. I mean, there's so many out there. K9 Clemson or Coleman, Florida. Knighton against Florida. That's a good one too, Daniel.
Well, and I think there's a play that not many would think of, but it was game 2 when Jada Coleman robbed that home run against Texas when Oklahoma, they were down early again, and Jada Coleman really stole the momentum. And that could be the play and the reason why Oklahoma even won that series was because that completely shifted the game and the series.
You're right.
I got something for you guys before we get off here. We got to ask this question because we did it last year on the first Sooner Surge Live softball show. How many games in the season until OU has a loss on their schedule? How many straight games will they win before they slip up and lose a game? I know Hunter's got the schedule in front of him, right?
I have it pulled up. I have it pulled up too. Hey, and by the way, while you're thinking of that, I think one play we haven't really talked about it from last year, but they left. Avery Hodge had some big moments down the stretch for Oklahoma. I mean,
oh yeah. Robert says 20.
My first loss, and I was pretty close last year, if you remember right, Jeremy. I know, but I tell you a game right now, and it's earlier than it. I would watch out for the at Baylor game in Waco.
I was gonna say
that was mine, Jay.
I would watch out for it.
I think there's a loss.
And that's early on. That's like February. That's right after Valentine's, I think.
Didn't they lose to them last year as well?
No, that was the year before. The second weekend of the season, they're in Waco at the Getterman Classic. They play Hofstra twice and Baylor twice. I think they lose one of those games against Baylor.
And the other one to me is if they get by there and they're still undefeated, at Kansas, I think could be. Kansas played them good last year. Kansas is getting better in softball.
Kansas
at home. Yeah.
Is it at home? Okay.
Yeah, that whole weekend is Love's Field, the Norman tournament.
Okay, I thought that was in Lawrence.
Have a dozen games.
Lane says no way, no. We got people saying 31, 36, 25. I'm just saying it is. I don't care who you're playing. Winning that many games in a row is hard.
Exactly. And last year it was what? Game 19 when they lost to Louisiana. Is that right?
Yeah.
It was somewhere in there. It was that first weekend at Love's Field when they lost. We didn't pick them to lose that game. I mean, it happens. I mean, losing happens in sports like it happens in every sport. Somebody loses every day. But in softball, especially, like, you're not going to win every game. It's just not going to happen. You're going to get up. That's okay. Like, that's part of it.
Yeah, especially when you're playing in the SEC, some of these road environments compared to the Big 12. It's not the same.
It's the best conference for softball, and it's not even close. And they just added the 2 teams that played for a national championship back in June.
Hey, I would be remiss if we didn't at least mention right now the Fan Stop guys. You see the logo on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, the Fan Stop. If you sign up for the Shirt of the Month Club by February 20th, you'll get this beauty at your doorstep in March. They have all kinds of apparel, but sign up for the Shirt of the Month Club. Use code SURGE, get 10% off your first 3 months. Different design each month, different color shirts. They're great. They have softball things as well throughout the year. You don't want to miss it. TheFanStop.com. Guys, before we get off here and go to our other live at 9:30, our normal live, I want closing thoughts from each of you. Just some quick closing thoughts before the season gets under the way Thursday.
Well, I guess I'll say that this is an exciting season. It's a new era. I think something I said on one of the lives the other night. Jason, I think it was even a comment that you read that I put in the chat was there's so much fuel in the fire for this team this year. There's so many new players that want to prove their way at Oklahoma, going behind such a legendary senior class. And Kinsey Hansen, Riley Boone, Alyssa Brito, Jada Coleman, Tiara Jennings, and even the year before in Grace Lyons. So there's a lot of players that want to prove their way at Oklahoma. Oklahoma, the brand itself, still means so much in college softball. It is the standard in college softball, but this is a team that has, I think, a lot to prove. They were picked third nationally. They weren't given the honor of being first just for Oklahoma being Oklahoma. And they were even picked third in the SEC in their own conference. So this is a team that has something to prove and really a lot to play for this year.
Real quick, they were picked third in the conference because the preseason poll, they're third in the SEC in terms of that. It's not like, it's a sub. Like, those are the two teams ranked above them in the preseason poll. And again, this year, you're replacing the greatest senior class in college athletics history. I mean, what those seniors did, it's never been done before. They won 4 straight national champions. They're up there on the Mount Rushmores for the sport. They're some of the best athletes college softball has ever seen, and Oklahoma's going to have to replace them. But at the same time, I mean, Oklahoma, they win so much, it's hard to bet against them. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say right now I think they're going to win the national championship, because that's hard to do. Winning 5 in a row, again, never been done before. 4 in a row was never done before. They did it, but now you're doing it with a whole new team, basically, like having to replace those players. And I still think it's going to be a great season. I think Oklahoma's going to make it to Oklahoma City. Oklahoma's going to have a chance at a national championship, no doubt. And it's going to be exciting to see kind of who starts, who doesn't out of that freshman class. Does it stay the same for the most part throughout the beginning of the year, or does it kind of change? Somebody that didn't really get a whole lot of play at the beginning of the season be able to step up in when it's all said and done, and late May or June, they're in that starting lineup contributing heavily to the team.
Hey,
I'll answer this. Sophia Bordy enrolled or got on campus less than a month ago, less than a month before the season, basically going to redshirt because she's an early enrollee, something that, again, there's only a handful of players in college softball doing this like completely getting there a semester early, a reclass for the way that the calendar is set up for softball. So she'll get a year to do what a lot of times what they want to do with Jen Rocha, which is give them a year to redshirt for freshmen. And she'll have that year right now so that the next year, when she would supposed to be a normal normal freshman, she'd already be redshirted and already have a full season of work with Jen Rocha heading into 2026.
Yeah, and Lane, I'm not going to lie. As soon as I saw your comment, I started to itch. But I know you meant live. You dropped it in there later. But I was kind of itch. But, hey, my closing thoughts are this. This season, there are going to be some new players that will be stars at Oklahoma for the next 4 years. Enjoy it, I think, as softball fans. And OU softball welcomes all challenges, okay? I don't care where they're picked preseason. I don't care how many they won in a row. It doesn't matter. Nobody on this team wants to be the team that didn't win one in a row. They want the streak to continue. I can promise you that. And they're going to do everything they can to do it. And we're going to be able to sit back and watch and probably see a lot of really star players in the making. So I'm excited.
Yeah. Hey, I got a final thought. Everyone's been waiting. Get out of here, Coleman. You guys have been here for 10 years. OU softball's dropping. I got to be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for, because what you got now is a rejuvenated, refreshed Patty Gasso. What's better than Patty Gasso the last 4 years? One that's rejuvenated and refreshed. Like, watch out, opponents. The standard is the standard. Patty set the standard. They're going for 5. Hop on board the Sooner Surge. We'll be with you every single night. Every time they play, we'll be here having a show afterwards. Make sure you hit subscribe, hit the like. Cannot wait for Thursday. Check out the Fan Stop at thefanstop.com. Patty's rejuvenated. Are you? Let's go, Sooner Nation. It's softball time in Oklahoma.